इधर उधर क्या दिख रहा है बे? मेरा पहला पॉडकास्ट है, होस्ट कर रहा हूँ, माइक ऑन कर।
जहाँ भी जाए हम भी सबसे रहे टॉप पर उठिए गैंग बोले फैंस अभी डॉक्टर डिनर में चिकन या बुया हो हर जगह हाँ बोली है बातें आजा चल माइक ऑन कर माइक ऑन कर माइक ऑन कर।
हेलो एवरीवन और स्वागत है आप सभी का माइक ऑन करके 7वें एपिसोड के अंदर। मेरा नाम है ओशन शर्मा और अभी तक हमने माइक ऑन कर की जो जर्नी देखी है उसके अंदर हमने काफ़ी सारे दिग्गज खिलाड़ियों को बुलाया इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स के, काफ़ी सारे कास्टर्स को भी बुलाया, बट क्योंकि साथ एक लकी नंबर रहता है तो मैंने सोचा कि इस एपिसोड के अंदर उस रीढ़ की हड्डी को बुलाना चाहिए इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स की, जिससे कहीं ना कहीं सारी चीज़ें बन जाती हैं। ऐसे दिग्गज सज्जन जिनको लेकर के जिनके साथ इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स चलता है और जिनके बिना ये इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स कहीं ना कहीं उनके बिना खोखला हो सकता है। तो स्वागत करते हैं इन सब सज्जनों का जो कहीं ना कहीं इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स के एक बैकबोन बन करके निकलते हैं। सबसे पहले तो मैं स्वागत करना चाहूँगा ग्लोबल ई स्पोर्ट्स के ऋषिंद्र सिन्हा, डॉक्टर ऋषिंद्र सिन्हा इनफैक्ट।
बहुत ज़्यादा हैवी इंट्रो था
जी और उसके बाद आते हैं 8 बिट थक या ऐसे 12 थक, आपको क्या बोला जाए?
वैसे 12 और 16 तक तो नहीं था कभी, 8 बिट थक ही था
जी 8 बिट थक। और उसके बाद आते हैं ओरंगुटान के अपने यश भानुशाली।
थैंक यू।
और लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट हमारे साथ आते हैं रेवेनेंट के मिस्टर रोहित जकासिया।
थैंक यू।
सबसे पहली चीज़ आप सभी का स्वागत है यहाँ पर। बट कहीं ना कहीं अगर देखा जाए अच्छी चीज़ें बुरी चीज़ें सब चलती हैं इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स में, बट आप सब लोग राइवल्स होने के साथ साथ यहाँ पर एक दूसरे के साथ आकर कोई जुड़े हुए हैं। सो ये ओवरऑल एक एक्सपीरियंस कैसा लगता है? कहीं ना कहीं राइवल्स हैं बट फ्रेंड्स हैं बट राइवल्स हैं, क्या है क्या ये सब?
क्या यश होस्ट क्या यश बताएगा इसके बारे में?
कहीं से भी शुरू कर सकते हैं।
इट्स ग्रेट बिकॉज गेम के अंदर हम राइवल्स हैं व्हेन आवर टीम्स आर प्लेइंग, बट आउटसाइड द गेम आई थिंक वी टॉक अ लॉट एंड यू नो वी वांट गुड फॉर द होल इकोसिस्टम, नॉट ओनली फॉर इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, एंड we take inspiration from everyone who's doing well and kind of try to implement in it our own organization as well. But I think everyone here has done a great job, and then I think these two other guys I've looked up to ever since I started Orangutan, because even before I started Orangutan I used to follow them, their teams, and I think it's been a good journey for me, and yeah, happy to be here and sharing the dais with Thag, Rushi and Rohit as well, being one of my closest friends in the industry.
Yeah, I mean like वही point है. To be honest, I feel we cannot trade alone in the industry. I mean like the ecosystem has grown really well. We have had such amazing entrepreneurs, gaming esports entrepreneurs join in and starting such amazing organizations like Yash said कि बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम एक दूसरे से सीखें. And to be honest, you know that rivalry is among the players. For us, you know, game हारेंगे जीतेंगे रात को बैठ के we can always chill. You know, we hit the clubs together. We have some amazing nights. So I think it's all fun. मतलब वो सब चीज़ें I think it's on a very lower level in the organization. At the higher level, like those things don't matter at all. And you know, it actually feels great. मतलब हम लोग तो अपने thoughts कितने ज़्यादा exchange करते हैं. And I think it's very important for all of us to be unidirectional as to how we approach our business. Yeah.
I was actually hoping that Rohit would go first because वो इतना nervous लग रहा है अभी कैमरा ऑन होते ही. He's looking so stressed, पसीने आ रहे हैं. But
You always remember your firsts.
Yeah. No, I've done a couple, but never done like with like fucking 10 cameras.
so you don't remember your first.
मैंने सोचा क्या आधे घंटे वेस्ट करूंगा, 500-600 करोड़ रुपए मिलेंगे नहीं तो क्या? आप वहीं जाके बोलते हो ना जहाँ
आपको
पे
MG नहीं मिला क्या?
Wait, you're not getting paid for this?
Yeah.
No, but more importantly, thank you so much, Yash, for having us over. This is something that we had discussed a lot, and ये पहले भी होने वाला था, but it got postponed, and I'm glad that we finally had the chance to sit down and do this. We have these conversations quite often, but either on WhatsApp or when we meet. I'm glad that we're finally having this conversation with the mic on.
जब माइक ऑफ रहता था तब ये बातें होती थी, अब माइक ऑन हो चुका है.
Exactly.
रोहित सर,
Yeah. I think like what you know Yash and Thug said. I think everyone in the industry have to coexist to make sure that you know the Indian esports ecosystem has to grow. The players are rivals, but we are all you know friends out game and all of that.
सो यू नो ऑब्वियसली इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर आप सबका एक बहुत बड़ा हाथ है इनफैक्ट अगर बात करी जाए, बट व्हाट लेड यू गाइज टू इन्वेस्ट इन द इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स इकोसिस्टम?
Yeah, I think it's passion driven, to be honest, and the inherent fact that I always want, for me personally, I always wanted to be a streamer, And when I started streaming, for me, like I've spoken about my journey a couple of times. थोड़ा knowledge था कि how to go about esports. PMSC happened. I was lucky enough to make it to Asia finals, and then for me it was like वो Asia finals was not looking back. I realized कि I'm a trash player and I need to get better players. तो मतलब मेरे वजह से बाकी के career के क्यों लग जाए. तो मैं I hung my boots and I just got new players, and I was lucky enough to meet Mortal and then eventually Goldie Bhai. And I think, you know, when you meet the correct people with the I would say uniform vision, then it just works out, because I was anyways pursuing my CA and CFA and everything, so I could have always had a job that I wanted. I always wanted to be an investment banker, but I believe that this thing was very purely passion driven. There was nothing, no XYZ to it, because when I started in 2018 मुझे पता था पैसे तो मतलब सोचा ही नहीं था कि कभी कि पैसे हो सकते हैं, you know, you can make money out of it. I thought it's always the prize pool. XYZ एंता प्राइस क्या होते थे प्राइस पूल 10 लाख रुपए,
हाँ.
पूरे ESL और मे बी XYZ इवेंट्स के 10 लाख रुपए प्राइस पूल होते थे साल में. So it barely, that was the, like, you know, driving factor. I think it was passion, and passion is where I think सब में ये common point रहेगा. It has led to where we are today, because everyone here was well off doing something else.
Anyone else, if you guys would?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I started playing video games when I was 3 years old. So for me, gaming has always been part of my life. But growing up, I always wanted to know कि इससे करियर कैसे बनाया जाए या पैसा कैसे बनाया जाए. एंड फॉर्चुनेटली फॉर मी इन स्कूल आई वॉज क्वाइट इनटू MMORPG गेम्स, so I always found a way to make in games, any in-game items, in-game gold, selling those items. So even in school I never had to take money from home, I never had to go for pocket money. I would always find a way to monetize my in-game knowledge and playing video games, and या तो अकाउंट बेचता था या आइटम बेचता था, कुछ ना कुछ करके जुगाड़ करके पैसे निकाल लेता था. That's how I went
के अगेंस्ट चीजें करता था.
तभी नहीं थे ये सब चीज़ें, TOS तभी. So most of these games weren't even there. They didn't have like established publishers. अभी तो इतने सारे indie game dev studios है, तभी तो situation थी भी नहीं. So just playing games, it went on to doing a lot more. And I still remember I played my first CS LAN tournament in 2001. तभी तो 500 रुपए का prize pool था. And seeing all those guys from AT and all these various clans playing in the cafe, private time में जाके ATI Radio ने sponsorship की थी, तभी 10,000 रुपए के रहा है. गेम खेलने के लोगों को 10,000 रुपए मिल रहे हैं, ये क्या, मुझे भी यही करना है, बाकी सब छोड़ दो, करना तो यही है. But of course life happened and I didn't end up going down that career path. I ended up going down the path of medicine, but I always somehow kept in touch with what I was doing in the gaming ecosystem and always kept on making money in some or the other way from the gaming ecosystem. And I still remember 2016-17 में when I had finally decided कि अभी कुछ भी करके esports में घुसना है. In fact recently told him the story. I had messaged Neerav, the founder of Entity. I was like, यार मेरे Entity में internship दे दे. I love what you guys are doing at Entity. I just want to be part of the gaming ecosystem. I don't care how. I just want to work. And this was around May of 2017, and then in August 2017 GE started. उसका कभी रिप्लाई आया नहीं. अक्टूबर में आया, and then he said यार गेमिंग में कुछ करना था तो हमारे साथ क्यों कुछ नहीं किया. And then I shared him the screenshot. लाइक मे में मैसेज किया था but रिप्लाई आया नहीं. But anyway, so I'm glad that reply नहीं आया. Otherwise globally sports wouldn't exist today.
Yeah, same with me. I also played a lot of MMORPGs. I still remember I started playing old school RuneScape. It was RuneScape back in the day. I played that for probably 9 years of my life, and then post that my elder brother is 7.5 years elder to me, and we went to the same school. So after school he used to go to this cafe in Matunga called Game Space, and I used to watch him play Counter Strike. You know, I used to never get to play because I was a kid, but I used to watch him play Counter Strike. Post that, you know, COVID hit. That time PUBG was just banned, and I got into Call of Duty. I didn't know what approach to take at that point of time, because you know I didn't know if I want to build IPs, do tournaments, or have a team. So we did all of it, and then one fine day, you know, we participated in the World Championship and we made it to the stage 5. And post that, you know, BGMI came back, we picked up our first roster, and you know, since then, you know, tried to get into every title.
Jay. Now comes the main man from Orangutan himself.
The guy setting the benchmark for esports.
My journey is very complicated because I think I started off by playing 1.6. I still play 1.6, so I think I'm one of the old guys here.
Literally one of the OGs.
Yeah. So I used to go to a cafe right opposite my society, and I never used to get picked. So they were like, first get good enough and then we'll, you know, pick you in the LP. So LP is like a loser's pay, where anytime you lose, you need to pay. So I was like, I need to practice this game a lot. And then I used to play on my mom's PC in my parents' room. And I was like, yaar, ye game mein kuch karna padega, because so at that time I wanted to be a esports pro player in 1.6. But pretty soon, as Thug said, he was trash as well. Even I was trash. But he could even after being trash, he could go to the Asia Championship. I don't think I was that good enough. But I was always an IGL, so I knew how to kind of lead teams in a way. And eventually, I went to London, finished my entrepreneurship management, came back, started a diagnostics company, completely opposite to what I ever thought, because I have always wanted to do something in gaming, but my dad was like, this is something I've started, and I don't think I have anyone else to kind of run it. You are the apt candidate to kind of run it. And then the first 3 years we lost 30 crores, and then I was like, bro, what the fuck am I doing? But I think COVID came in, which was a big boon for us. But of course, I feel for all the other guys for what COVID happened. But I think esports picked up from COVID much before that, but picked up during COVID as well. And one fine day, I just got drunk on the 31st of December 2020. I've told this story hundreds of times. Just texted my board that I'm quitting and I'm going to start my own esports organization. But that time I had no money, because absolutely no money. Like, I told my dad I want to start it. He's like, karo fir. So I was like, ki paisa? So he's like, ki figure karo. Matlab, it is not something I'm going to give you. And then I was like, bro, what am I going to do? And then for the first 3 months, I thought I'll become a streamer, I'll earn money, and then I'll start a esports organization. But pretty soon I was like, कि मेरे को तो कोई नहीं देखने वाला है 100%, because I have no in-game skills, I have no content-wise skills. So then I made this huge big file. I think Jai is here as well. Jai, I gave it to Jai. Jai is my girlfriend's best friend since college days. And then my girlfriend was like, if you want to start something, you have to have Jai, because if you don't have Jai, you're going to mess it up. And that's exactly what has happened over the last 3 years, that anything which I do is always messed up. Anything which Jai does is perfect. So I think he's the biggest backbone to Orangutan, and even though he's not on the podcast, I think it deserves to be on this one, because he's the one who actually runs the show at OG. I'm the one who just had a big dream as a child, and
Wow.
yeah, that's the story for me. And I think the last 3 years have been pretty good. But to give you a fun fact, I told Rushi when we met last time that when I was building OG the first 3 months while I was doing my research, I used to watch Rushi stream all the time, and I don't even think he knows it. He was at 45, 50 watching, and I was one of them. And I used to watch him stream and learn about how a esports organization starts and how it works. And
तो इसका credit मेरे को दे रहे हो?
and I know Thug as well. I know Thug as well, because one of my very close friends, Ronak, even before he got into esports, we used to play CS together, and he was an absolute nobody, and he turned into an absolute star for the first 6-7 months. After that, it all went downhill. Thug can explain more, but
I don't want to explain it, bro.
that time I was so against.
Why is it on me? Ask him.
That time I was so against Thug कि यार मेरा दोस्त इतना अच्छा जीते है यार, ये लोग क्या हो गया. But as soon as I started Orangutan, I understood where he came from, and I thought he took the absolute right decision for his organization. And you know, I just looked up to these guys ever since I've started, and what they've built is amazing. Like me and Rohit, I think we are the new guys in the industry who are trying to do something, but I think we are in the same boat. I feel Revenant and OG are exactly the same, and I think we are exactly moving towards what these guys have already accomplished, but I think we have a long way to go as well.
Right.
I think in general in esports, everyone is in that position where grass is greener on the other side. They're all looking at what people did before them, learning from their mistakes, building
Yeah.
upon it, adding layers on it, and
Yeah.
ensuring that they make new mistakes, at least not the same mistakes.
Right, I think, but we are still doing better. Like all of us are doing still better if you look at the global organizations, like everything that we have seen recently, EG nuking their roster and all of that stuff. I know we all make mistakes, but I think it's still a learning phase. Another 5 years, at least for us to get to the level where we say that okay, it's an autopilot show. But before that, I think we'll all start learning, from each other.
I was surprised EG didn't nuke their roster earlier. The amount they were paying their roster, I don't know how they afforded to stay alive this long.
I know, talking about the affording of the things, right? जैसे कि होता है कि जैसे अभी आपने भी बोला कि नए नाम भी हैं, and obviously there are those names as well जो कि पहले से हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं एक इन्वेस्टमेंट लगती है, कहीं ना कहीं कोई एक रोस्टर बनाने के लिए, टीम्स उठाने के लिए पैसे लगते हैं, वो सब चीज़ें. सो वहीं पर मेरा अगला सवाल आता है कि जो ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, हाउ डू दे मेक मनी?
They don't.
It's a universal answer. They don't.
Like no one does. I don't believe that is any esports organization who has been able to monetize. Even if you win 5 CR straight at 4 different titles, your burn would always be way high. I mean, like, look at where we are sitting. This infrastructure takes a huge capital money that would be recouped in I don't know by when. So you know, and if you add the inflation and everything that's happening,
I don't think it will ever get recouped.
Yeah, it's never getting recouped. So I don't think esports organizations make money, to be honest. We are just, you know, different verticals that you have within a gaming organization that, you know, you can just have a different cost center and a revenue center is how you make up for it, or else it's all capital
I
back.
think we discussed EG earlier. They're a prime example, a roster that wins the world championship with more than $1 million in prize money, with more than $1 million in digital skill revenue, still has to say that they can't afford their winning roster. So.
Right, and matlab the way it's inflated for NA, I think it's still inflated for India. This is something, you know, I always discuss.
Like, is it more for India or like is it
no, comparatively? I mean, like, there's obviously if you look at the Indian market and if you look at the monetization opportunities, even if I say ki content is the biggest monetization source in gaming, how many organizations are able to monetize their content? It's very less. I would say not more than 4 or 5. So what about the other 15-20 teams? And is that money enough to even break even the cost that they're incurring? I had this conversation I think 2 years back with one of the Call of Duty mobile rosters, which was the best in India. They had a requirement of roughly 6 lakhs rupees a month, which was 72 lakhs rupees a year. I asked them just one simple question. I don't want to make money off you. Can you get me 50 lakhs rupees return? I'll ready to burn 22 lakhs. आप मुझे 50 लाख रुपए वापस ला के दे सकोगे? कोई जवाब नहीं है, और ये जवाब किसी प्लेयर के पास
Exactly.
So I think we can make money. There is insane potential. Market बहुत change हुआ है, and especially because orgs like all 4 of us and a lot more have been able to sustain. So अब brands और investors को भी भरोसा दिख रहा है. But we need to bring sanity into the industry. That is definitely lowering salaries and everything. Cost cutting बहुत ज़रूरी है, and will obviously मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि revenue नहीं है.
No, what you said will be able to sustain is absolutely correct, because the problem is that the reason that we are able to sustain is because we already have other sources of capital that we can invest into it, or we're able to figure out where to get that capital. It's not because you're making so much revenue from esports that we can reinvest
right.
that.
वो तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता ना. मतलब you look the worst contract you can have is a 50-50. उसके बाद भी after the taxes and all, you don't make anything. So I believe that sanity in the industry is very important. Players need to realize that it's not 2020. 2020 I would say कि 2021 early was the boom of Indian gaming, जहाँ पे भाई पैसा अंधा था. अब नहीं है वैसा. It's not at all like that. Market has dried up, money has dried up, so we just need to be very cautious and careful.
But Thug, coming on to the same conversation, अगर कोई भी बात करता है इंडियन esports ecosystem में, हर कोई ये बोलता है SATO 8-bit कहीं ना कहीं profit के अंदर है. Like people say it. So I don't know ये उनको दिखता है या क्या, but what do you think you have done different?
No, it's not about that. So there's something I have said on record. SATOL is not profitable. Of course it's not. It's the talent business that I built that's profitable. If I look at SATOL as an organization, it's not profitable. There are 2 reasons. There are brands, but I don't want to undervalue myself. मैं 5 साल wait कर लूँगा, but I want full value for money when I have already invested. Me, Goldie and Mortal, we invested for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So either I undercut my prices and try to make कि यार इधर उधर से थोड़ा लेके, but I don't want to do that. So SATOL is not profitable. It's one simple reason कि brands don't have enough money to pay us. I don't want to underrate esports. I don't want to undervalue esports. I don't want to undervalue my organization. So that's the simple reason. So to be honest, if I'm sitting and talking about esports teams, we are not profitable. We are at heavy loss. And जितना loss इनका हमारा भी है. But ठीक है, थोड़ा मैं इतना नहीं बोलूँगा कि we are completely burning it because we are doing merch. They have also started merch. G did a merch line. रोड भी कभी ना कभी करेंगे. And obviously content में कभी sponsorships आ जाती है. But when I've always spoken to brands and pitched them esports teams and I've asked for the money that I want. ऐसा नहीं है पैसे नहीं है आपको. You want a smaller check, they'll readily give us. But if you want a big ball check, then they are not ready to give it, and so we are burning. But the still, I would say, sitting here, I still have a very controlled burn compared to a lot of other teams. Compared to 3 of them, which we have always discussed about it. A very controlled burn, but still burning.
And adding on to the conversation, obviously आपकी टीम में नए प्लेयर्स अभी आए थे अगर मोबाइल लाइनअप की बात करें. एंड रोहित सर, आपने भी ऑब्वियसली रेवेनेंट के अंदर अभी रिसेंटली साइन किए थे प्लेयर्स. अगर ऐसा अगर बात करी जाए, आपकी तो काफ़ी पहले से प्लेयर्स रहे हैं. बट व्हाट डिटरमाइंस अ प्लेयर सैलरी इन इंडियन ई-स्पोर्ट्स इकोसिस्टम, एंड वो
एक्चुअलिटी में या व्हाट शुड डिटरमाइन अ प्लेयर?
दोनों बता दीजिए. व्हाट डिटरमाइंस राइट नाउ एंड व्हाट
राइट नाउ इट्स देयर फ्रेंड्स. It's what other orgs are paying and what their friends are getting paid.
Yeah.
That's what every organization.
So वो एक मेरे दोस्त को बन जाती है क्या? बट व्हाट शुड डिटरमाइन एंड किस बेसिस पर एक प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट किया जाना चाहिए कॉम्पिटिटिव टीम के लिए?
See, the selection criteria for a player is very different than what the player deserves to be paid.
Okay.
I love giving this example. I think you have also said this
Yeah.
same thing in the past, because I have had this conversation with Rossi straight away. He's asked me this lots of times, what do you value me at? I was like, bro, I value you at $10 million, but koi nahi dega wo. Like that is something that I can value you at whatever. A valuation is only what someone is willing to pay. Right now, no one in the market is willing to pay anything for anyone. Even when we talk about something as simple as sponsorships, when I talk to all the other VCD team owners, not just in Asia, I can talk about orgs in Europe or in America, and I talk about their sponsorships, all of them say the same thing. A few years ago, when they went to a brand, the brand would ask, oh, is this the best team? Do you come in top 3? What is the kind of heritage that the team brings, or the kind of value that the event brings by winning? Today when you go talk to a brand, they'll say, ठीक है जीते, that's great, but वो फोर्थ वाले की ज़्यादा व्यूअरशिप आ रही है, उसको ज़्यादा पैसे देंगे.
So is it like आपका resume नहीं दिखाता है, आपके numbers दिखा रहे होते हैं आज के टाइम पे कि आप क्या?
No, right now it's a direct comparison. They can just give an influencer who's just doing, say, gaming content on, I'm talking internationally also, TikTok or Shorts or Reel or anything else, who will drive far more traffic. Right now, brands are paying for traffic, not for the heritage or the prestige of having the best team associated with them. They no longer care about that. They're like, ठीक है बेस्ट टीम है, बट उससे मेरे रेवेन्यू कितने होंगे, मेरे आईबॉल्स कितने होंगे, मेरे कन्वर्जन्स कितने होंगे, एंड देन ब्रांड्स डोंट सी इट. सो इन अ ईयर और टू दर यू नो व्हाट, आई डोंट केयर अबाउट स्पॉन्सरिंग द बेस्ट टीम, आई केयर अबाउट स्पॉन्सरिंग द टीम दैट विल गेट मी द मैक्सिमम आईबॉल्स, मैक्सिमम कन्वर्जन, मैक्सिमम रेवेन्यू. अदरवाइज वाई विल आई पुट, नहीं तो वो सब छोड़ के 10 टिकटॉक वालों को दे देंगे, 10 इंस्टाग्रामर्स को ले लेंगे, 10 यूट्यूबर्स को उठा लेंगे. इट्स स्टिल चीपर देन स्पॉन्सरिंग एन ई-स्पोर्ट्स ऑर्ग, बिकॉज दीज players want lakhs of rupees salary, regardless of where they are in the world, regardless of which game they are playing, and regardless of the platform, whether console, PC or mobile.
Yeah, I mean, like, having said that, I have massive respect for OG in this matter. I mean, like, they have been able to monetize purely on the basis of esports, which is amazing. Because I don't think I have seen that happen the way they have done it over the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen it historically in India. No other org has ever done it. We had TSM Fnatic come to India, but they had all global sponsorships. And also, there's one interesting thing that, you know, what Rushi mentioned. When we talk about sports or esports, the budget comes from their marketing budget. It's never a development budget. It's not a charity fund that they are running. No company is doing that. So when you talk to the biggest brand marketers, they'll say only one thing. The only thing we care about is KPIs. KPIs are not matched by winning trophies or anything. It's about, you know, the numbers, the you know, what engagement you have and all of that stuff. And if it was not the case, none of the publishers would have published कि कौन से टीम से क्या ट्रैफिक ड्राइव हो रहा है, because if they are studying that, because they know that that's the only thing that matters, and that is how we have seen the ecosystem grow. मतलब globally भी यही है. So I believe that's very difficult, although this guy stand out in that matter and be like, this is something that I look up to OG कि भाई कैसे कर रहे हैं. मतलब मुझे लोग आके बोलते हैं मैं स्ट्रीम पे तक, भाई आप इतना मॉर्टल को इतना स्पॉन्सर, स्काउट को इतना स्पॉन्सर, ऐसे 12 के क्यों नहीं है? मेरे पास जवाब नहीं है इसका. I know I've not been able to figure that out. One thing has been money, of course, the kind of money brands are ready to pay. But second thing also, I still feel कि money is not the bigger factor. यार एक बोलोगे 0.7 में तो close होगा, but I haven't been able to figure out. They have done it pretty well, and I think that is something that I can say is a little game changer, which we all can take inspiration from.
तो
And he
आप ही
can
बताइए.
throw some light on how they crack this code.
No, I think when we started, we never had any creators. Like when I started Orangutan, me and Jai, we just picked up our BGMI team, we picked up our Free Fire team and made our Valo team, but we never had like the guys like Mortal or the guys like Jonathan or the guys like, you know, all the big guys. So we like, we have to maximize the potential of the guys we have, and we cannot go as an organization and not earn any money. Like how is that going to work, right? Because for the first 1 year, me and Jay were like, यार ये सब कर तो रहे हम, but पैसा कैसे बनेगा इसमें? Because for me and Jai both, it's like कि this is our life, right? मतलब it is not a passion project like a lot of esports owners are. Like for them it's like passion कि यार मुझे passion है esports के लिए, मुझे support करना है तो मैं पैसे डालूंगा. But for me and Jai, it was like very clear that even though we are investing money, we need to get money back, and if we are not getting money back, this is not a business which we are going to run for a long time. मतलब we can keep pouring in the money, but eventually if the money is not going to come in, eventually we'll have to shut down. मतलब I don't have a bank at home. I'll keep pouring in the money, and eventually the business.
Even if you do, why would you at some point you will also think like कभी तो returns आना चाहिए.
हाँ, मतलब आप पैशन कब तक ही रन करोगे? It's like for me also right now, I said it's passion driven, but now I look at my P&L, it's very important. मतलब I like it's so important. वरना तो यार we have seen यार हर बार गेम कम बैक किया है, हर बार 20 और खुलते हैं, एक इवेंट आउट होता है, वो ऑर्ग्स बंद हो जाते हैं.
I think for me and OG as a whole, what determines a player's salary is basically what the team is getting paid. So we are never on the mindset that we want the salaries to vary for different players in the team, regardless of who the player is. So
जी.
that is our mindset as an organization, that even if we get a star player or underdog, the salaries are always equal. So equality is something which I really believe in, because I don't want star players getting more money or more exposure or something like that. So, and for us, we have a golden rule in the organization that the coach will always be paid the most in the team, and he'll be the one who will drive the agenda for the team. And I don't think it is very common in a lot of esports organizations, but that is something which needs to change. That is our opinion, because I feel that coach and the IGL is the heart of the team. And
Ji.
if you want to build a successful esports vertical in an organization, the coach and the head of esports and the IGL in every team or every game you venture out into are the key members of the team, and everyone else are, you know, just players who come in and go out. But the IGL and the coach is something which I focus on the most, and anyone who abides by the OG ethos which we have, he should be fitting into the vision I have as an organization for Orangutan. And
Ji.
if he fits into it, we get him in. And for us, money comes secondary. First comes his values as a player, and if he ticks those boxes, bro, it's the wrong thing to say, but just give him what they want.
मैं
इसीलिए हमारे खर्चे होते हैं इसीलिए हमारे खर्चे होते हैं
इसीलिए
इस
हमारे
तरफ
खर्चे
एक
होते हैं।
इंसान बोलता है और साइड वाले लोगों के मुंह पे हल्की सी वो जो एक मुस्कुराहट
No,
है
मतलब ये this is something that I always have against OG. भाई they are setting benchmarks, amazing benchmarks. Apart from the good things, ये बहुत गलत benchmark set कर रहे हैं।
खर्चे।
खर्चे
I mean-
मतलब यार literally मतलब when the game came back,
बोर्ड भी देखने
we
वाला
went
episode, मत बोलो खर्चे का इतना
लेकिन अगर करोड़पति ओनर्स की बात आ रही है तो रोहित सर सो
चुपचाप बैठा हुआ है
Billionaires,
चुपचाप।
bro, billionaires.
हम लोग सब चुप हो जाते हैं
नहीं, so I mean, when we started, I won't lie. I mean, you know, because we wanted to get good talent, we had to pay a little more because we were not an established org like G or SA2L, so we had to pay a little more over the market. But eventually, the benchmark, you know, I don't know if we are still there. We'll take a while. But you know, I think all the players should understand that they're not bigger than the organization. The organization is always bigger than the player.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the fact that what Yash said कि सबको same मिलना चाहिए. It all depends on, you know, the experience also what a player carries, the sort of, you know, achievements that a player has. When we get sponsorship from brands also, players generally ask that, you know, ये तो org sponsorship है तो इसमें हमको क्या मिलेगा? So I
Right.
think all that has to still be.
So I think उसमें Indian esports में education की problem है. I mean like, you know, when you talk
Yeah.
about the players, सब काफ़ी players are like OG is one of the most experienced roster, I would say. If they have Rigger and Ash sitting in their roster, they are one of the most experienced players in the industry. 4 साल हो गए, not speaking about them, but in general players still don't understand how it works. I'm completely game for both of them. इनका case थोड़ा different था because when they entered they had to pay over the market because आप समझ रहे हो ना, मार्केट ऑलरेडी सैचुरेटेड है. देन इफ अ बिग प्लेयर इज कमिंग, वो कैसे अपना नाम बताएगा? टू बी ऑनेस्ट, आई एम बीइंग वेरी फ्रैंक अबाउट इट. आप आके कुछ भी इफ यू आर लाइक इफ यू वांट टू बी मीडियोकर और देन बात अलग है. इफ यू वांट टू डू व्हाट दे आर डूइंग देन यू हैव टू ओवरस्पेंड. आई बिलीव दैट कि एक और प्लेयर को वैल्यूएबल बनाता है. प्लेयर शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि उनको कहाँ अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है. इफ फोर ऑफ अस आर गिविंग एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, दे हैव अ, मैं समझो हम लोग ऐसा नहीं है कि उनको बीच मजार में छोड़ देंगे. कल को एसएटीएल बंद हो गई, ओजी बंद हो गई, आरएनटी बंद हो गई, जी बंद हो गई, वी स्टिल हैव स्टफ, विल हेल्प देम सेट अप देयर लाइव्स. ऐसा नहीं है कि 4 साल हमारे लिए खेले, 5वां साल हम बंद हो गए तो उनको छोड़ देंगे. सो प्लेयर्स को बहुत फ्यूचरिस्टिक होना होगा. आई बिलीव दैट अस एज ओनर्स एट सम पॉइंट वी विल सकम टू द प्रेशर कि उन लोग बोल देंगे वी आर लिविंग. आज मुझे अगर ओमेगा बोलता है कि इफ यू आर नॉट पेइंग दिस आई लीव, देन आई डेफिनेटली सकम टू प्रेशर. मैं वहाँ पे अपना आई कैन नॉट शो दैट ओके आई एम थग एंड आई लाइक फक ऑफ, आई कैन गेट अ नेक्स्ट ओमेगा. Skill is irreplaceable, but it comes with a price tag that is set by the market conditions. I mean like a few months ago we all had a conversation. There was a owners call जिसमें हम लोग 8-10 टीम के ओनर्स थे. उसमें मैंने इस बात भी उठाई थी कि यू नो सैलरी में सैनिटी लाओ. बट नहीं, मुझे जो सामने से फीडबैक मिला काफ़ी ओनर से, आई कुड नॉट फील दैट यू नो द वे वी आर प्रोसीडिंग इज दैट. आई बिलीव दैट as OG, as RNT, as G, as SATL, we have so much to add to the players' life and their career.
Yeah.
So why should we be the one overpaying them? वो यही चीज़ है, you know. And Rushi has just been from the entire event. He spoke to so many owners. Everyone is doing that. Cost cutting is. So I think players need to understand we are there. We'll help them sustain. But मतलब there is no valuation. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते स्टार प्लेयर आ गया तो वो यार वो 10 लाख का उसका वैल्यू है, उसको 1 करोड़ रुपया सैलरी नहीं दे सकते. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. द मार्केट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. उनका कॉस्ट सेंटर डज नॉट मैच विद आवर रेवेन्यू सेंटर. मुझे इफ आई टेक अ ओमेगा और अ गॉब्लिन और XYZ फ्रॉम टीम सोल, आई वोंट बी एबल टू मोनेटाइज देम बिकॉज जो एरा था ना 2019-2020 व्हेन द टीम सोल गेव मॉर्टल, वाइपर, रौनक, ओवेस, XYZ, वो आज नहीं बन रहे. इट्स नॉट दैट द प्लेयर्स आर नॉट ग्राइंडिंग. इनके प्लेयर्स भी स्ट्रीम करते हैं, इनके भी करते हैं, रोहित भाई के भी कभी कभी करते हैं, मेरे तो बहुत ज़्यादा करते हैं, बट वो नहीं हो रहा बिकॉज द इंडस्ट्री एंड द कम्युनिटी एंड द ऑडियंस इज नॉट लाइक दैट जो उनके पास था.
What Yash said with pay parity makes sense when they came in because tabhi they were just starting off fresh.
Right.
Like where we are at the VCD, there's no way we can afford to pay all the players the same salary depending on varied skills, what they apply, how long the contract is. Like so much so initially when we had started, we even had a straight price pool split that was with the team and with the org. Now we have gone down to individual player percents price split, digital revenue split, digital goods split, team branded skins, because that's something that's going to come in game next season as well. So there's so much more. The more we get evolve and the higher tier we get, the more evolved the market gets. Like I have seen in the same team a player get 5k and 45k USD a month. And they both play very well, but the value that each of them brings the team is so varied apart that you can't justify that cost.
एंड यू नो आई बिलीव कहीं ना कहीं चीज़ें इसमें बदल जाती हैं जो कि आई बिलीव हमारे नेक्स्ट सेगमेंट की तरफ लेकर के हमको चलता है. दैट इज़ द डिफरेंशिएशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मोबाइल गेमिंग versus PC gaming, the challenges and the good things and the bad things, because I believe आप सब हैं यहाँ पे, तो आपने मोबाइल वाली साइड भी देखी है और PC वाली साइड भी देखी है. सो इफ एनीथिंग उसके ऊपर आप लोग अगर ऐड ऑन करना चाहें तो.
No, I mean, I think India is a mobile first market.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, we are doing PC games. That is only because of my, utter love for PC games. But I love Counter Strike, and obviously, Counter Strike was not a big scene. We got into Valorant, but it was not a sustainable game. And I mean, esports overall is, it's very hard for orgs to make money, but I think it's still easier when you do content, you do, when you're investing into games with roadmaps like Free Fire and BGMI. But yeah, I mean, I think the good part about mobile gaming also is accessibility, since Jio has come in. I think the data prices are the cheapest in the world right now. India has become the second largest smartphone market. All of that has only made mobile gaming much better for the whole Indian audience and Indian organizations also. But yeah, I think PC gaming will still take some time to grow in the country, or it might not even grow because of accessibility to PCs.
My view is very clear. As an organization, the way we think about getting into games is we get into the best game we want to get into in the best market possible. The games which work in India will work in India, but the games which work abroad will work abroad. PC gaming has always been like the mecca of esports. If you want to reach the ultimate top and if you want worldwide recognition, you have to be in a PC game. You don't have an option, you have to be in one. The way G has done it by representing India at VCT, I think it's terrific, and that's the way which we want to go as well in different PC games. But as an organization, the call is very simple, that you get into the best game in the best possible market where you have the most possible, you can build the biggest community and you can also monetize that community as well. So that is our thought process when we get into multiple games, because we have a roster in Taiwan as well in Pokemon Unite. We were there at 2 consecutive world championships, and the craze which we saw in Japan for Pokemon was insane. Like you can never do something like that in India in any game. BGMI bhi chhod do, Free Fire bhi chhod do. The craze which Pokemon has in Japan and the Southeast Asian market. So if we want to get into Pokemon Unite, that is the most preferred region, because we feel that that is where we are going to make the money.
But in the in the West also with PC games, it made a difference. We had a Apex Legends roster that went to ALGS. We competed against the likes of G2, TSM, Team Liquid. But we are not able to monetize it. It also depends on the publisher, on how, like, I mean, with Riot, Rushi has the best things to say about them. But even with Counter Strike, I mean, in India, you're restricted to take money from betting brands and crypto brands. I mean,
Because as a esports organization, you can make money any way you can, because पैसा तो बनना नहीं है इसमें. मतलब that is very clear. Historically, that has been the scene that esports organizations barely, like we can count a few, out of which one is one of my very good friends. But
no, I think the standard thing is what everyone says internationally, and which we have also learned. I think this is almost a company line now for everyone in esports, that esports is only a marketing vehicle. For what no one knows, everyone's figuring out.
Yeah.
So, like, these three have their strong footprints in PC. We have never entered PC gaming, and For me, I have a very business by the book का मेरा काम है. I have always
Definitely.
said कि भाई अब मैं लाइफ के उस फेज में नहीं हूँ जहाँ मुझे रिस्क लेना है.
हाँ.
What I feel right now that the PC esports scene in India stands on a very brittle podium right now. You know, मतलब unless it's for the players to change it, no Rohit or Yash or Rushi can change that. Until the point that they realize कि they grinded for years, they grinded more
Yeah.
than our BGMI, PUBG, mobile, XYZ players did. They have been wet. मतलब we have looked up to them. At least me, I have looked up to a lot of them. If I look at it, if the most decorated esports PC player of India right now, if it's Rossi, and if I look at if I'm able to monetize Rossi, and if I look at the, not talking about Rossi, if I look at the ask of a PC player, of a very good PC player in
Yeah.
India, and I try to see how I manage it, how I'm able to balance it out with a way I can monetize him, वो match नहीं होगा.
There's no comparison.
When we were talking about inflated salaries, I think PC esports में is the most unsustainable salaries right now. And it's for the players to figure out कि दो चीज़ है, या आप खुद को सस्टेन करो अगले 5 साल, या you will run out of jobs in the next 1 year.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing what's happening with Valorant's off season. There is
Yeah.
no off season. So who wins except Rushi and except for the teams that played in VCL? I think you guys won it. You guys of course
Yeah.
did. मतलब किसी को कुछ नहीं मिला यार.
Exactly.
तो आप 1 साल सैलरी देके क्या करोगे? वी आर द की स्टेक होल्डर्स. हम लोग देंगे. हमने बैन में भी अपने प्लेयर्स को सपोर्ट किया है व्हेन द गेम गॉट बैन. हम पीसी प्लेयर्स को भी सपोर्ट करेंगे. बट द आस्क शुड बी वेरी मच लुकिंग एट द ई स्पोर्ट्स इंडस्ट्री, पीसी ई स्पोर्ट्स इंडस्ट्री इन इंडिया राइट नाउ. यार
Yeah.
2 साल में बूम आ गया. मे बी CS2 कम्स एंड इट ब्लोज अप. ले लो ना आपको जो लेना है. बट द पॉइंट राइट नाउ फॉर मी नॉट टू एंटर इज अ वेरी सिंपल रीजन. आई डोंट सी कि स्किल का प्रॉब्लम है यार. आएंगे, ओनर्स इंटरेस्ट लेंगे, मैनेजमेंट अच्छी होगी. आई स्टिल बिलीव कि बहुत अच्छे अच्छे प्लेयर्स हैं जो इंडिया में ग्राइंड कर सकते हैं. So I strongly believe that PC esports can reach a position in India that it is stable. I won't say it will have a hyper growth, but उसके लिए पहले प्लेयर्स को चेंज होना होगा. मतलब एक पॉइंट आएगा व्हेन आई बिलीव दैट द डोमेस्टिक टीम्स वुड स्टॉप सपोर्टिंग. एंड आई मीन लाइक ओजी ऑलरेडी हैज अ ग्लोबल लाइनअप. लाइक आपकी लाइनअप इज बाहर की ना.
No, like
imports and
yeah,
mix है.
imports and
then
mix.
EG completely went to
Yeah.
तो सब लोग किए ना.
Yeah.
मतलब हाँ. And then VLT disbanded their roster. NTT does not have a Valorant roster. GE went to this. RNT ने भी कुछ किया, but Rohit bhai unfortunate.
No, but I'll tell you a real story in OG which happening. Like, out of all the rosters we have, the most amount of money which we burn and we can't monetize is Valorant. And even
Okay.
though Valorant for us, for me personally and everyone in office, Valorant is the most favorite game. Our
Yeah,
Valorant
yeah.
team is one of their most favorite, which they gel with the most and they have a very good time. But from a pure business perspective, Valorant is the most loss-making venture I've ever entered into in my life. मतलब मैंने बहुत पैसे डुबाए हैं और इससे ज़्यादा पैसे मैंने कभी नहीं
Right,
डुबाए
and
हैं,
PC
मतलब।
sports lacks that grassroots level talent. मतलब
And-
हम लोग को
No,
talent
yeah.
hunt नहीं कर सकते. मतलब
I completely agree.
if you ask me top 10 people PC में, अगर उन लोग टॉप 10 नहीं भी होंगे ना, मेरे पास 10 नाम फिक्स्ड है.
Yeah.
वो होंगे वो जो उस टाइम में जी और एनटीटी खेलती थी ना 2017-18
हाँ.
में ESL में, उसके ही प्लेयर्स
वो
होंगे जो
players
इन एंड
juggle
आउट
करके ये
हुए. एंड
10
आज
है.
भी उन लोग ही रेलेवेंट है.
Yeah.
इट्स बिकॉज देयर इज नो
That's why I
ग्रासरूट.
said 10 साल से वही चल रहा है.
वही
PC
चल रहा है यार.
sports में,
मतलब
it
आप
hasn't
समझो ना,
changed
इट
much.
हैजंट चेंज. देयर आर
But-
नो न्यू टैलेंट कमिंग अप.
यू नो आई बिलीव एक चीज़ है जो कि चाहे पीसी हो चाहे मोबाइल हो उसके अंदर रहती है. दैट इज राइवलरीज
राइट.
दैट देयर आर. आई मीन हमने मोबाइल सिनेरियो में भी राइवलरीज देखी. हमने
Ugly
हमने पीसी सिनेरियो में भी देखी है.
गुड वंस. या ये
Yeah.
चीज पीसी का देखो जहाँ पे अच्छी बात है. पीसी स्पोर्ट्स हैज बीन ऑलवेज सो फन.
Yeah.
मतलब आई मीन लाइक यू आई डोंट नो. मतलब मैं जब से आया हूँ मैंने नहीं देखा कि यार कोई ऐसा ऐसे जैसे हमें मोबाइल कम्युनिटी में जो चीज़ें हो जाती है, पीसी वाले बंदे बहुत चिल है यार. मतलब उन लोग बहुत मस्त है.
This is one example that I've like sorry
हाँ,
but this is
no
one
worries.
example I've heard कि like पहले on stage वही लोग एक दूसरे को एड्रेनलिन रश में गालियां भी देते हैं फिर साथ में बैठ के खाना भी खा रहे
हाँ,
होते
पीछे
हैं.
भी है.
Absolutely.
But rivalry-
मोबाइल में can-
मोबाइल में आई हैवंट लाइक माई लास्ट party that I did with the community in mobile gaming was maybe 2019. उसके बाद I don't know if I have ever had players or players among themselves.
I
नहीं
think
होता.
another reason for that is also because in a game like BGMI, there are 16 teams that play at once. In a
Possibly.
PC title, it is Team A versus Team B.
Right.
So there's only 2 teams on the stage. So if it's a grand finals, it's between those teams. That action, that competitiveness,
Yeah.
that drama, those storylines are between those 2 teams, those 2 IGLs, those 2 primary
And
duelists,
matlab,
attackers.
if
That's
you
how it
see,
builds up.
like even on the rivalry front, why is it that after G versus VLT, there was not a craziest rivalry that was able to pop up in India? मतलब I think either there is a storytelling problem
In PC
or there is
there has
something.
been VLTG but
वही
in
तो
mobile
बोला.
I believe
वही बोल रहा मोबाइल पीसी में जी VLT थी उसके बाद क्यों नहीं है कोई rivalry?
हाँ.
Why is there after G
I believe
left in-
content has to give credit.
Yeah, so मतलब
Stories.
कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है. So I
Stories.
believe that this industry is a bit flawed right now,
Yeah.
but I think it's figurable. मैं बोल रहा हूँ obvious, like Yash
Very,
said,
not a bit.
and even Rohit said कि PC esports is the ultimate epitome. Me
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
full hardcore mobile enthusiast, मैं बोल रहा हूँ epitome है भाई, उससे मजा किसी चीज़ में नहीं है. जो एड्रेनलिन आपको Valorant के गेम में खेल के आ सकता है, आपको आज के BGM में खेल के नहीं आएगा. बट ऑडियंस को देखना होगा. ऑडियंस नहीं देखेगी, नहीं जानेगी, नई टैलेंट नहीं आएगी, तो मैं तो एंटर ही नहीं कर पाऊंगा ना ये स्पेस. इवन इफ आई लुक एट इट, मतलब मुझे अगर एंटर करना है तो आई एंड अप फाइटिंग विद ऑल 3 ऑफ देम. मतलब क्या करूंगा, इनके प्लेयर्स तानने पड़ेंगे बिकॉज दे हैव द बेस्ट ऑफ इंडियन टैलेंट सिटिंग विद देम राइट नाउ.
बट लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द करंट बिग राइवलरीज. ऑब्वियसली उसके अंदर गॉडल सोल एक नाम आता है व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द मोबाइल सिनेरियो, राइट? बट इज देयर एनी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ द राइवलरी? जैसे आपने बोला कि ऑडियंस जो मांगती है ऑडियंस को वो मिलता है, क्या उससे
यार मतलब देखो
प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी आती है?
आई मीन लाइक आई बिलीव दैट राइवलरी हेल्दी अगर होती है देन इट्स वेरी फन. If it gets toxic, which definitely is the
Limit.
case between Soul and Godlike,
Yeah.
it's not between us. I'll be very honest. हम लोग, मैं बहुत trash talking recently किया हूँ on record, ठीक है? तो but ठीक है, मतलब but it's trash talking. I won't
जी,
go
जी, जी,
ugly, but I believe that people have lost the plot. जिस direction में जा चुके हैं, I don't believe that इस rivalry में कुछ अब अच्छा बचा है, except for the fact that I still speak to Orangutan, Orangutan still speaks to me, I still speak to Ghatak, Goldie also still speaks to Orangutan, Ghatak. उतनी तक बात खत्म हो गई. आई बिलीव दैट राइवलरी शुड बी हेल्दी, अदरवाइज इट्स नो वेयर अ बून. मतलब इट्स बहुत खराब हो चुकी है चीजें, इट्स बिकम सो अगली. मतलब सो आई बिलीव दैट
But I
आई एम
think,
नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ दिस राइवलरी.
I think rivalries build great storylines and it
As long as
builds
they're done
great
right.
viewer retention.
As long as they're done right.
Yeah,
As long
if it's done right.
Exactly. And yeah,
yeah.
like one thing I want to say, which I don't know if I should say here, but what most people in the world don't realize, the audience or even a lot of the players, owners talk to each other in conversation.
Yeah.
बात करते हैं. So
Yeah.
like we also know when players are going around talking to them, when the audience says something, he'll pick up the phone and call Ghatak or Cronten. When there's an issue, we'll pick up the phone and call each other.
Yeah.
We'll talk it out. Or we have a WhatsApp group of owners. सिर्फ players को लगता है उनके पास ही group है. हमारे पास ही group है. हम
यार
बात
बड़े बड़े
करते हैं.
पंगे जो हमें लगता है हाथ से निकल जाएंगे, आई हैव बीन लाइक इन द मिडिल ऑफ हीट ऑलवेज. बात करके चीज़ें सॉर्ट हो जाती है. सो आई बिलीव दैट कि मतलब राइवलरी शुड बी हेल्दी, एंड इफ इट्स हेल्दी इट्स अमेजिंग. मतलब आई बिलीव दैट, इफ करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, डोटा में ऐसी बहुत राइवलरीज हुई हुई है, द बेस्ट. एंड CS
I would say don't even go
बहुत अच्छी हुई
esports.
है.
Look at WWE. The entire
Yeah.
sport is built on rivalries and
Right.
entertainment.
पूरा scripted
The storyline.
the sport is scripted यार. मतलब ये सोचो, and then still they have been able to build storylines. वो चीज़ मिसिंग है स्पेशली इंडिया में.
या आई मीन कहीं ना कहीं इसमें ऑडियंस को भी थोड़ा सा मैच्योर होकर के चीज़ों को समझना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज यस, ओनर्स आपस में बैठ करके चीज़ें पढ़ रहे होते हैं, दे आर लाफिंग, एक साथ ही वो मजे ले रहे होते हैं. बट यार टॉकिंग अबाउट द गेमिंग सिनेरियो, हर किसी ने बोला कि मोबाइल इस समय चलता है, मोबाइल गेमिंग चलता है. एंड मोबाइल गेमिंग की अगर हम लोग बात करें, वेल द लैंड्स आर बैक डेफिनेटली.
Yeah.
अभी BGIS होगा, BGIS के फाइनल्स होंगे, वो सब चीज़ें. BGMS का लैंड हुआ. So how good are the LANs? Sorry, but how good are the LANs for the accountability की audience भी आती है, एक अलग ecosystem मिलता है. वो मैं जानना चाहता हूँ. ऑनलाइन में जो जितने गेम्स होते थे हो चुके हैं. How good is it now? The future with respect to mobile gaming and the LANs and PC LANs, every LAN.
So I personally haven't seen actual LAN event happen. The last actual LAN event I went to was DreamHack 2019 or 2018. When the Soul lineup was first ever, they had their first ever win. I went there as a viewer because my friend was playing Ronak and I was like, यार ये मेरा दोस्त है जो यहाँ तक पहुँच गया, I think I should go and watch it. But after that there has been COVID and a lot of other things, but we are waiting for the BGS finals to happen and see what the response is. But I think people are mad behind BGMI, Free Fire both. People will flock into stadiums, and Thug rightly said, and we use it in our investor pitch deck as well, with his quote in that Wankhede stadium is going to get filled up once, and that
a matter
is
of time.
yeah, it's a matter of time until that happens, and I think that will be the biggest thing for us, and that is when our industry takes a whole U-turn and we just boom. But until then we just have to grind it out, and as esports organizations we just need to make our business models work. That's what a esports organization is about, because no one in the world has cracked a business model for a esports organization.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, like until that happens, the biggest of esports team, including us, will go down in the next 2-3 years as an esports team.
And I don't think anyone is going to figure out how to make money just on esports.
Yeah.
They will have to leverage their skill, their knowledge, the people that they have on board to be able to actually make money off of this. Whether it's Liquid doing like a Liquipedia or their app, whether it's Sentinels doing like a Sensity or them doing
Yeah,
content
yeah.
or us doing our studio or anyone working on 100 Thieves doing their merch. Everyone has to figure out some way that they can monetize based on the skills that they have,
Yeah.
the skills that their team possesses. And I joke around about this a lot in GR. Like all of 2020, 2021, हम लोग ने काम किया हमारे studio में. We've gone and got projects. We have worked day and night so we could earn money so we could pay salaries to our players.
Right,
Like,
that should
उनके लिए
change.
हमने काम किया है पूरा COVID.
ये change
That's the
होना होगा.
reality.
See, I believe that winning and losing is a part of it, but to be honest, I don't see the enthusiasm in the current esports player. उनको ट्रॉफी की लत है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट आप खुद को एज अ esports पर्सनैलिटी इवॉल्व कैसे करोगे, वो उनमें हंगर नहीं है. No one dreams of becoming the next mortal or scout, which is a very very big problem. If they dream, just dreams don't get you there.
They want
The
they
mortal
don't
and
do
scout,
what it takes to get
like आज when I talk to players, लोग बोलते हैं हम लोग 9 घंटे खेलते हैं. 9 घंटे mortal और scout भी खेले हैं, मेरे आंखों के
Yeah.
सामने खेले हैं.
Yeah.
And उसके बाद भी उन्होंने खुद का ब्रांड बनाया, which is missing, which I think is gonna be a problem until unless एक दिन एक मैसिव न्यूक आएगा और हम लोग सब बोलेंगे सब जाओ.
एंड यू नो जस्ट एडिंग अप टू दैट, आपने बोला कि वो जो हंगर है वो प्लेयर्स में से खत्म हो रही है.
Right.
सो अभी obviously official tournament is going on. We have seen bigger names going out like Global Esports. They did go out and Godlike also is eliminated as we speak. अभी जब ये podcast हो रहा है. So do you think is it because of the hunger or what would have been the reasons? Because they played good at one
That
point
is
as well.
nothing to do with the hunger. I mean like
Then-
Godel भी अच्छी टीम है, सब अच्छी
Yeah,
टीम है,
exactly.
मतलब वो तो किस्मत की बात है. मतलब आई थिंक दैट्स प्योरली लक यार. मतलब 5 पॉइंट 4 पॉइंट 10 पॉइंट के फर्क में आप 4th और 7th आ गए तो I
That's
don't think
battle
it-
royale, that's enough
That's
RNG.
battle royale, that's RNG.
But
मतलब
to
उसमें
also give you an example, we did not qualify for 2 official tournaments, so
Yeah,
it
my
is
team did
nothing
not-
new.
Sorry, Mercy's team did not qualify for
Yeah.
8 tournaments. जिसमें 2 tournament तो हुए भी नहीं. I was just going through that.
Like there have been phases where official tournaments are the most difficult to qualify, and if you qualify, that's the epitome for India.
Right.
Like official tournaments, but it is very difficult. Like qualifying for BGIS
Qualifying is tough.
is
आप
the most
finals
difficult.
पहुंच जाओ.
Yeah.
इनकी टीम फाइनल्स पहुंच गई ना.
हाँ.
मतलब वी आर सॉर्टेड. वी
Yeah.
डोंट वरी अबाउट द फाइनल्स. Qualification is so difficult, but I think that's the fun of the game, especially BGIS. When it comes to something like a BMPS, it's pretty easier because even it's called a pro series for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Teams get a better invite at a better stage just to bring like I would say uniformity in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But BGIS we understand and मतलब उपाय नहीं है यार.
And
Yeah.
that's how you unearth stars. Like that's the only way through BGIS is when those actual fandoms are created and storylines are created.
Right.
Because third party तो यार हर कुत्ता जीत सकता है यार. मतलब official tournament is something which is I think the goal for everyone here. मतलब
Yeah,
Especially
no,
because the
definitely.
format, because it's so long drawn out, the fact that you have managed to get from round 1 to that final stage,
Right.
that means you have consistently performed and survived where other people may have had good days or bad days. You have to
Yeah.
have multiple good days. Like मैं exam का example बहुत देता हूँ कि it's like going for an exam, but board exam एक दिन 3 घंटे में खत्म हो जाता है वो subject. Now imagine if you had to give that same subject every day for 3 months.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
your average marks were taken. That's what BGIS is.
Then you'll either have like 100 out of 100 and also like maybe some days you might just have 45 out of 100 and like what's your take on that?
This whole qualification thing is, firstly you don't know how these underdogs play, where do they drop, how how do they rotate. I think the analysts and all also don't have enough data.
जस्ट टेकिंग अप विद दिस वन, कभी कभी ऐसा भी होता है कि पहले के टाइम पे तो बहुत होता था, एक टूर्नामेंट खराब गया, टीम डिसॉल्व हो गई, सीधा खत्म कर दी गई. अभी थोड़े ज़्यादा टूर्नामेंट्स दिए जाते हैं, सब होता है, बट वट इज़ दैट वन डिसीजन जो कि ओनर्स के माइंड में आता है कि अब ये टीम डिसॉल्व की जानी चाहिए, अब ये टीम को हटा देना चाहिए, लाइक किस तरीके से वो एक फैक्टर आता हो?
I don't know कि वो क्या फैक्टर है, बट रिजल्ट्स आर नेवर अ रीजन.
Yeah.
ओके,
बस यही मैं बोलूंगा.
टीम अगर खराब भी करती है, यू आर देयर विद द
Yeah,
टीम.
Yeah, I mean,
Team
out
खराब
game
करना
also
बात नहीं है.
matters, no? What is the
It's
relation
all
you
about,
have with them?
It's so much to do with the relation that they have with their owners and the management. In some cases owners, some cases management. And relation मतलब ये नहीं कि यार चापलूसी करना है. It's about how we see them. Like अगर आज मैं किसी 20-year-old player पे bet कर रहा हूँ,
जी.
and if I look at him to be the next face of SATUL, क्या वो reliable face है is the only question that he needs to answer.
Yep.
एंड जस्ट एज वी आर मूविंग टूवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द एंटायर पॉडकास्ट, अब एक चीज़ आती है कि ऑब्वियसली आप लोग हैं अपनी अपनी टीम्स की गवर्निंग बॉडी. कुछ भी होता है अच्छा बुरा, टीम्स आपको आकर के बता सकते हैं, आप पूरा डिसीजन लेते हैं. बट क्या इंडियन ई स्पोर्ट्स इकोसिस्टम में ओवरऑल एक गवर्निंग बॉडी होनी चाहिए?
No.
Absolutely not.
इफ नो, व्हाई नॉट?
See, I think यार ऑन रिकॉर्ड बोल नहीं सकते. या मतलब
I can
is
give
a good thought.
I can give an on-record safe answer.
जी.
I think it's too immature and too early because whoever comes in now as the governing body whoever is the decision maker, it is going to be close to impossible for them to have an unbiased opinion. Whatever decisions they make will be to benefit them, their org or their affiliates the most, which is going to ruin the future of esports. So I would say right now it's better that it be the wild west for the next few years, till everyone learns how to grow, sustain, survive and understand what works before there is an unbiased body that is made. Right now it's too early for anyone to come and govern how things should be done. हम लोग जो है, who we are saying that we are at the top, we ourselves don't know क्या कर रहे हैं. We are figuring out and learning new things every day. If some third party comes and says ऐसे करो, ये allowed नहीं है, इतनी minimum salary दो, ये contract में ये होना चाहिए, then वो ही कर ले. फिर हम नहीं करेंगे.
Bro, that happened in Valorant. You saw what happened. I mean, all of us got out. But more than anything, I think, yeah, like what Rushi said, let esports grow like a wild animal. Plus, if a new body comes in, they don't know the hardships that we faced as org owners. I mean, they'll just come and say that, fuck you, do this and all of that.
Means we have learned through experience, and at the end of the day, they will experiment on our budget. They will tell us how we dictate our budget.
We are not a government-funded team. So, like if you look at real sports in India, like barring IPL, if you look at the ICT, we don't have an Indian cricket team, like Indian BGMI team. बोले कुछ नहीं. It's a franchise model. It's a IPL model. IPL model में क्या है? There is a governing body who will tell us कि आप ये कर सकते हो, आप ये नहीं कर सकते हो. But if you talk about esports की एक body बढ़ दो, that is like calling it like sports.
Unless the governing body is willing to pay all players' salaries. Right. No, more take all our salaries, then we're okay.
It should not come with more scrutiny is what I'm saying. They cannot come and tell us what you are doing, how you did it. If they are coming for a reason ki, if it comes with some laws, legalities, जो अच्छी चीजों के लिए change हो, growth oriented.
Maybe for, I would say, arbitrage to help in case of resolving any conflicts or if there's an issue between orgs or between players. Maybe just for conflict resolution as an arbitrage body, there could be someone that's neutral, but as a governing body, too early.
Never.
No, but I have an interesting take on it where I feel the body needs to come in, not now, maybe 10-15 years down the line, but exactly how it happened with cricket, right? So cricket came in when the Britishers came in, and after about 60 years is when BCCI was formed. So it took a lot of time for the sport to mature and enough opportunities to be created, and organizations like us came in cricket as well, and that's when everything got institutionalized.
But kind of like a counter take to that was still possible because no one really has the claims to cricket. Here in our situation, every game the governing body technically is the publisher. Because they are the ones who own the right. कल को Indian government भी बोलते Valorant में ये होना चाहिए, Riot बोल देने भाड़ में जाना ही चाहिए. It doesn't matter. The governing body has no true control. It is control that we are handing over to them.
It should be thought about by everyone. One of the reasons I want all of us to come together, and we did the owners meeting as well, is because when all of us are together, no one can kind of take advantage of us when we are together.
But again, even when we are talking about this, I told you the same thing. If say there's 10 of us doing this, we are going to look out for 10 of our interests. What about the 100 other owners that want to come out next? They're screwed. Then they have no entry into the ecosystem, which is I feel it's too early.
And I still believe that a body is not coming very soon. The industry is not that big. Esports की बात कर रहा हूँ, not the gaming and RMG.
True.
I believe that क्या ही turnover है. मतलब अगर सारे आप esports related teams को और उसको companies को ला दो, तो I don't think it's a very big turnover. I don't think it's even 1,000 crores. So क्यों ही government interest लेगी is what I feel. जब कुछ है ही नहीं, धंधा ही नहीं है, तो आप क्यों ही हाथ में उसमें उंगली करोगे?
जी इसी के साथ हम लोग अपने इस पूरे पॉडकास्ट के अंतिम क्षणों पर ज़रूर आ चुके हैं और मैं आप सभी का आभार अभिव्यक्त करना चाहूँगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस एंटायर पॉडकास्ट. आप लोगों ने काफ़ी सारे वर्ड्स ऑफ विजडम दिए हैं जो आई बिलीव ऑडियंस को भी काफ़ी अच्छे तरीके से भाएंगे. और आप लोग भी बता सकते हैं कमेंट सेक्शन के अंदर अगर आप इनमें से किसी के साथ सहमति रखते हैं, असहमति रखते हैं, सब चीज़ें आप ज़रूर बता सकते हैं कमेंट सेक्शन के अंदर. लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए अपनी स्क्वाड के साथ, अपने दोस्तों के साथ. और डेफिनेटली अगर आप लोग नए आए हैं, माइक ऑन करके ऊपर आए हैं, तो यहाँ पर सब्सक्राइब डेफिनेटली आप लोग कर जरूर सकते हैं बिकॉज आने वाले समय में और भी बेहतरीन एपिसोड्स आते ज़रूर रहेंगे. बट बिफोर वी जस्ट एंड द एंटायर सेगमेंट्स एंड ऑल द थिंग्स विद दिस पॉडकास्ट, आपके लिए काफ़ी बेहतरीन उपहार हैं, एम्पर्स हैं. आप बिग बॉस को देना भूल गए बट कोई बात नहीं, खैर
बिग बॉस ही दे रहे हैं
जी. बट बिफोर वी जस्ट लीव एंड एंड दिस पॉडकास्ट, एनी वर्ड्स ऑफ विजडम जो कि आप लोग आखिरी कुछ हों?
And looking forward to more such chats. I think it's going to be fun.
Thank you for having me. I really had a good session. First time in front of the camera. Thank you, Yash. And yeah, hope to have more of these soon.
Thank you so much to all of y'all for having us. And of course, these are conversations we've had multiple times off camera. I'm glad we're finally having these conversations on camera. And I hope we can do a lot more of these.
For me, I think it's surreal to be here because 4 years back I was watching the streams from my home playing Counter-Strike, and I was like, यार ये लोग काम तो सही कर रहा है, I want to do something like this. And eventually sharing the same sofa with at least two of the guys who I've looked up to all my life for esports and for gaming. I feel that all of us need to come together to get this industry moving up. Like,
जी
we are key stakeholders, and when we are together, I think we are immovable as an industry, and we can reach great heights. But if we are fragmented, I don't think the future looks very bright.
जी और इसी के साथ आपको एक और चीज़ हम बताना चाहेंगे कि जो भी यहाँ पर इनको हैम्पर्स मिले हैं इसके अंदर ओरंगुटान की काफ़ी बेहतरीन मर्च है जो कि आप लोग भी ले सकते हैं shop.orangutan.gg पर. एंड इसी के साथ थैंक यू वेरी मच गाइज. यू गाइज हैव बीन इनक्रेडिबल विद योर वर्ड्स ऑफ विजडम एंड होपफुली विल सी यू अराउंड.
Thank you.
My conquer.